Chapter 23. Mason. Mason checked the time again. Duke was late. He knew he was asking a lot of his brother to take him to yet another appointment, but he hoped the doctor would remove the ankle cast today and let him start physical therapy. Then maybe he could start driving himself places and stop inconveniencing his brother. Of course, he could have asked Clara, but after the bombshell she dropped last night, he wasn't ready to see her yet. Though he'd expected her father had played a hand in their breakup, hearing her admit she had allowed it so he could go to college still stung. Yes, money had been tight for him then, but he would have found a way to do it without her father's money. If only she had cared about him enough to tell him. And that was the issue he couldn't get past. If she had cared about him as much as she said she had, why not come to him and tell him her father's plan? How could he trust her to be honest with him in the future? In fact, how could he trust his parents? They'd also lied to him and conspired to separate him from Clara? He would have to confront them about that soon as well. The knock on his door came just as he was checking the time again. Finally, he hobbled to the door and opened it to an apologetic Duke on the other side. "Sorry, man. Traffic was a nightmare." "It's okay, but we better hurry up or we'll be late." Mason locked the door behind him and followed Duke to his truck. It took him a minute to get into the truck and sit comfortably, but soon Duke was tearing down the road. Mason knew he should tell him to slow down, but he enjoyed watching the scenery fly by. The jumbled images matched his mood. "So, you want to tell me what's got you so pensive?" Duke asked after they had been driving nearly 10 minutes in silence. "And don't tell me it's about me being late, because we'll be there in plenty of time." "No, it's not about that. Clara came over last night to tell me something, and it kind of rocked my world." He turned from gazing out the window to regard his brother. "Did you know Mom and Dad conspired with her father to break us up?" Duke's eyebrow lifted, and he shook his head. "No, but what do you mean conspire?" "Did you know my scholarship money wasn't really a scholarship?" Mason pressed, ignoring Duke's question. "No. What are you talking about, man? You aren't making any sense." Duke glanced at him, his brow furrowed in confusion, before turning his attention back to the road. "Clara's dad paid for my college. Mom and Dad told me it was a scholarship, but it wasn't. How could they do that, Duke?" "I always thought someone paying for your college was a good thing," Duke said. "Not if there's a condition attached that says the only way I get it is if Clara breaks up with me." Duke let out a low whistle. "That's what she told you happened?" Mason ran a frustrated hand across his forehead. "Yeah, and now I don't know what to do with that information. I'm mad at Clara for letting her father tear us apart and for not talking to me. I'm mad at her father for making the offer. I'm mad at Mom and Dad for taking it, and I'm mad at the 6 years I lost with her." "That's a lot of anger," Duke said as he pulled into a parking space. He turned off the engine and faced Mason. "I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry, because you do. But maybe it's time you did some soul-searching about what's really important." "What do you mean?" Mason asked. "Well, it appears to me that God may have brought the woman you loved back into your life. And if she finally told you what happened back in high school, then maybe she's now in a position to make a different choice. The right choice. As for Mom and Dad, yeah, you should talk to them. But they wanted to give you a chance. Should they have taken that deal? No, at least not without talking to you. But I honestly think they had your best interests at heart." Mason bit his lip as he thought about Duke's words. Maybe he was right. How many players did he know who were still dating their high school girlfriends? None. In fact, he could count on one hand the number of people he knew who married their high school sweethearts. Would he and Clara have ended up the same way if they had stayed together? And Duke was right about her being in a new place. That was evident not only from her ability to tell him about the past, but also from the extra information she gave about standing up to her father. A relationship with her while her father still hated him would be hard, but if she was able to stand up to him now, it would at least be possible. And then there were his parents. He wasn't a father yet, but he imagined he would be tempted to take an offer like that for his own kid if he knew it was the only way to help them succeed. Heck, it was the plotline of half the movies he watched. Parents doing terrible things to save their children. It didn't make it right, but it was believable. Had God really arranged for all of this to happen so that he and Clara could have a second chance when they both might be ready for one? It was certainly an interesting thought to consider. "You speak wise words, my brother," Mason finally said. Duke shrugged. With age comes wisdom." Mason chuckled. "Ha, if you're so wise, then how come you haven't found a woman and settled down yet?" "Who says I haven't?" Duke said as he opened his door and stepped out. "Wait, what?" Mason flung his door open and nearly lost his crutches in his hurry to catch up with his brother. "You can't drop a bombshell like that and just walk away." "Actually, I can," Duke said with a laugh. "I still have 2 working feet." Mason struggled to keep up with Duke. He wasn't sure if his brother was being serious or just trying to lighten the mood, but he was determined to hear about this girl if she existed.